today, we can get you onboarded and we can have you ready for the group that's kicking off soon. Does that sound good for you?
It sounds pretty good, but I feel like that part about the community I have right here is kind of like resonating in my skull right now. If I
Yeah.
could have like 24 hours to kind of sit on that feeling a little bit, so that if I make
Mm.
the decision, it's 100% rather than an emotional decision, I think that would be the wise for myself.
Well, regardless, it's going to be an emotional decision.
It is 100%. The emotion is like, I don't want to regret spending money. And then,
Right.
right, I know I need to invest in myself. So that's probably that's
Let's talk about that if you're open to it, man. Because like I said, like there's no right or wrong. It's whatever is going to serve you. And my job as a coach is to also call things forth, right? Like that was you're always going to have that option in person.
yes.
But do you feel like it's going to support you to have a container like that without actually addressing the core issues of dissociation and regulating your nervous system?
I'm not sure as I haven't explored it with that.
Mm.
Like we have done things where it gives me, there's a lot of like finding my own answers, like a lot of questions so that we can find our own answers, which is really interesting within that group. Um, yeah, I think full disclosure is that I did put a boundary around my spending this year. And that's part of the hesitation because last year, like
Mm.
I did spend money on, David Bear.
I don't know David Bear now.
He's like a limit, like a was a limited, like an unconscious beliefs kind of coach. And I
Hmm.
purchased one of his programs that I was working through, and I paid for this other thing with the immersion, doing that for a weekend. And I'm looking into this year where it's like there's stuff that's come up that I
Mm.
that I know I have to pay for, and I'm like,
Yeah,
okay, I didn't budget for this, and I'm like, can I make it work? But at the same time, I don't want to have to stress about it.
sure. Yeah, we're not here to add more anxiousness and anxiety to already a nervous system that's overstimulated, right?
Yes.
Um, and you know, I'll put back on you, man. Like, do you feel like if you actually wanted to learn how to do this, to actually improve yourself, do you feel like you could figure out how to make it work?
Yes.
And so when it comes to putting a budget on, how much you could invest in yourself this year, like what's that actually mean?
Well, I've never actually looked at that. So, um, that's why I was that's what kind of came up with it. I was like, I've never actually looked. There's a friend of mine that I talked to, and she comes up with a budget of what she'll spend in a year
Yeah,
on like retreats and like doing growth stuff. And I'm
yeah.
like, oh, I've never done that. And then
Of course you haven't, man.
I've never done that. Like I do stuff, but I've never like fully financially committed.
Yeah.
And like it helps
Well,
that
that's
I work alongside a group that's very similar. So like I use my business and I do trades. So I'll be like, oh,
mm,
I'll cover this, but if you put me in for the 4 days for the men's thing, then I'll do it. We'll do it for free. I'll might cover it, and then as long as I get the seat, because it is. So yeah, I think that's a part of it. And then the other side of it for me is like knowing that my ex partner doesn't have a lot of money, and if she needs money, I'm afraid that this would take away from me providing in
yeah,
that aspect. So there's that. Those are like the me not setting a budget and then
yeah.
thinking that something's going to come up, and if I need the money, and then have to tell her, oh, I spent $5,000 Canadian on this thing. What?
Hmm.
Why would you do
That's
that?
wrong, man. Yeah, it's all part of the problem you're here to solve, right?
Yeah.
It's like there's financial strain on a relationship to which you've separated because of your inability to actually regulate and communicate and express yourself, right?
Hmm.
And that same issue around your lack of ability to lead and to express yourself is also stunting growth in your business. All
Yes.
connected.
Yes,
right? Part of what we're here to solve, man.
for
And,
sure.
in terms of your budget, my friend, don't take this the wrong way, but at 40, what, 6, 7 years old, right? You got some catching up to do, my friend. We have decades worth of behaviors to fix.
Yeah, it's not sure. I'm not, like even before, yeah. So before the separation, it wasn't an issue. So like she separated our finances a few years ago, and then when I was just solely like she had a job and was working, and I had my own accounts, I never had any money issues. But once she left, I got left with all the debt that we were sharing.
Mm,
And then
yeah.
because of COVID, yeah, basically because of COVID and everything, it's just all this debt just got skyrocketed because she stopped working after we had our little
Mm,
one. And then once she left, she did take a chunk of money from our credit.
mm, mm,
And then I was like, oh, and that's kind of for me been is like I'm sitting on this chunk of money still. I've been chipping away at that and then giving her money. And it's like we've never accounted for her loss of salary. So I'm making
mm,
more than I did when we were together and living together, but I'm not making double.
mm,
But now my costs have gone up 40%. So that's the thing. It's not like my salary should be able to afford it, and I always could afford things. It's only been in the last 4 years where I'm like I've been playing catch up, fixing all those things from the
yeah.
separation. So and COVID.
Yeah. Yeah. I appreciate you sharing that, man.
Yeah.
And so it sounds like that's going to be something that's present for a while.
Yeah.
It's not going to go away tomorrow in a month,
No.
right? The only thing you can change is if you want, how you're going to show up and how you're going to navigate those things with the emotional intelligence tools that you decide to learn or not, you
True.
know?
True. So 3 months at like what's the exchange rate right now? Um,
Let me figure it out. Let me see. So the first installment would be 1,200 USD to Canadian. So the first installment would be 1,720. But like money aside, man, I mean, like, do you feel like you're actually capable of making these changes for yourself and for your family?
I feel like I am.
Uh,
I
and do
know
you
I
feel like
I
this?
know that I am because I mean I'm not the person I was 10 years ago, 20 years ago. It's just not as fast. I think a part of it is that her trajectory's been like this on her growth because she doesn't really work full time very much, but she is with the little kid. Anyways, but like has been like her journey for a long time, and I feel like mine's been a bit slower because I'm carrying a different load and I'm making
Yeah.
excuses. But
Can
yeah.
we put those excuses to the side, man, and just come to the decision in front of you, man? And you get to do it for you. You don't have to do anything you don't want to do,
Hmm.
right? But ultimately, like, what is going to serve your purpose for your life and how you want to show up?
Yes. What would it look like? What would basically like a tip? What's the part of the men's group and stuff like that? What does the commitment look like?
In terms of how you like time wise?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. So we have a standing group session every week. We
Hmm.
have a couple options for you to pick one that's going to work best within your schedule and then commit to that. Okay. In between each live session that Jordan leads, we're going to be giving you things to actually implement daily, whether at work or whether with your relationships or things like that. So those
Okay.
are really anyone will be able to do that. And then you're also going to have you're going to be added to a private WhatsApp with all the other brothers. That way you can like share what's coming up if you're having a difficulty or if you're, on it and you're really wanting to share and inspire others, you'll have like a group chat as well. So everyone we work with, man, operates at a very high work rate. So time
Yeah.
shouldn't really be an issue unless you allow it to be.
Okay. That's true. We have a choice with everything. 5,100. Oh, I wrote the number down. I'm staring at it.
think you're staring at the wrong thing, man.
I know that.
You're staring at a mirror, bro.
I know. And it's just 3 months. So it'd be like 3 months in the group, and then
Yeah, there's options to stay with us after. There's option you'll be invited to in-person retreats and all that,
yeah,
but none of that really matters until you take the first step.
true. Oh, oh man, I don't know why it's so hard for me to make the decision.
Why do you think?
Well, one, it's like I'm trying to get out of the burden of the debt that I'm sitting in, and it's because it's a focus. I'm making it a focus rather than believing that I can just do it and then it'll take care of itself over time. But I do need to be responsible. And I can be
Yeah.
responsible in other ways.
Yeah, I mean, if I could share a different perspective too, it's okay. Like, do you feel like you're actually being as responsible as you can by not prioritizing yourself and the reason why you're in the situation that you are?
True. I mean, how much is the men's group thing? If it's paid all at once, it's 3,500.
Yeah, so you'll save like a couple $100, I think, if you do it that way. I think you save like $150 if you do it that way.
Yeah, I'll do the men. Yeah, okay. I'll sign up for the men's group, the standard group. The one-on-one, that stresses me out too much.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
You sure? Because you don't have to.
Why do you gotta say that?
Because I want you to come into this like actually like backing yourself up, man. Buying this shit, to be honest, I'm gonna be real with you right now, bro.
Yeah,
Buying this is the easy part. Showing
sure.
up every way, making time for the next 3 months to actually work on this stuff, that's the hard part. But we want you to come in from day one, like feeling every reason why you shouldn't do this, do it anyway for you and your future. That's what
That's
my
true.
job is here to do.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, you're right. I feel like I'm on the fence when it comes to things. I feel like so. Yeah, you know what? I'll do it. I'll do it.
Cool. Congratulations, man.
Thanks.
Welcome aboard. Um, I'll create your account right now. D, possibly RC, so Darcy, Demo,
Yeah.
same email we use.